The Way of the Unshakable Mind. Miyamoto Musashi's Path to Inner Strength. Miyamoto Musashi once wrote, "There is nothing outside of yourself that can ever enable you to get better, stronger, richer, quicker, or smarter. Everything is within." Most people think the path to greatness is about conquering the world. Musashi believed it starts with conquering yourself, not your enemies, not your circumstances, your own impulses, your own ego, your own fear. Imagine a man who had no master, no home, no comfort. Musashi wandered the countryside of Japan, sword at his side, battle-scarred and hunted, with nothing but his discipline to keep him from slipping into madness. "They say this is hard. I'll wait till I feel ready," Musashi said. "You will never be ready. You make yourself ready." He believed every challenge was a forge. And in that forge, you are both the hammer and the steel. When your mind is quiet, your purpose becomes clear. Your direction becomes obvious. You strike yourself again and again until the shape is strong, until your character holds up under pressure, until you can face anything and still stay calm. It's not because he was the strongest, but because he was the most strategic. It's not power over others, but power over himself. To be calm when others panic. To see clearly when others are blind with rage or fear. That's why his most famous book, T, about fighting it's about the Book of 5 Rings, a guide to strategy, not violence, he wrote. Do not seek pleasure for its own sake. Do not rely on partial feelings. Do not regret what you have done. Do not envy others. That's the way of emptiness. You don't lose yourself. You clear away everything that isn't truly you. You don't need to beat anyone else. Just the weaker version of yourself. Not for glory. Not for revenge. Because he refused to be ruled by fear, comfort, or laziness. And in a world that rewards excuses, that kind of self-discipline is a revolutionary act. If your strength depends on others cheering you on, you'll break the moment you're alone. But if your purpose comes from within, nothing can stop you. And yet through it all, he never lost himself. It's about mindset. It's about living with intention, not reaction. Discipline, not distraction. Strategy, not emotion. You just need to stop being a victim to everything around you. Start walking with clarity. Train your mind like your life depends on it, because it does. And remember, the enemy isn't out there. The enemy is within. But so is the master. So is the way. Because he had trained not only his blade, but his mind. If you want to become unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable, you'd have to start there too. Not with motivation, not with goals. With the inner war, his solitude made him stronger, clearer, more dangerous. Didn't need a crowd. He didn't chase applause. He just kept walking his path through storms, through loss, through enemies, because he knew where he was going. It rewards those who think sharper, who see one step ahead, who understand not just their own moves, but their opponent's intentions. Strategy isn't about dominance. It's about understanding. And Musashi understood people, psychology, timing, and terrain better than anyone. He wasn't just a fighter, he was a tactician of the mind. And no matter what tools you use, your mind, your body, your voice, you are always in training. Musashi trained himself relentlessly. Not for show, not for praise. He didn't train to impress others. In his words, in emptiness, there is good, but no evil. Wisdom exists, logic exists, the way exists, and mind is empty. He trained because he knew the world would test him without mercy. He wasn't afraid of the tests. He welcomed them. Most people avoid discomfort. Musashi didn't just fight with swords. He fought with painting, poetry, and strategy. To him, all of life was the battlefield. One of the most mysterious lessons Musashi left behind was about emptiness. Not emptiness as in hopelessness, but emptiness as in clarity. To Musashi, emptiness meant not being distracted, not being full of desires or fears or noise. That's what Musashi was chasing. Not chaos, but control. You could throw Musashi into a duel where he was outnumbered, under-equipped, or ambushed hand. He would still win. He believed that strength without clarity was wasted energy. Out. What's the lesson? Life doesn't reward those who try harder. One of Musashi's most powerful teachings was to walk the path alone. Too many. This sounds harsh, lonely. But Musashi wasn't telling you to isolate yourself. He was telling you to own your journey. Musashi walked alone not because he had to, but because he chose to. Musashi didn't preach motivation. He preached discipline. He knew motivation fades. But discipline, that's your edge. Oh, that's your power. He wrote, "Today is victory over yourself of yesterday. Tomorrow is your victory over lesser men." This is the ultimate truth of self-mastery. Every single day, Musashi sharpened his blade and his will. You want to win? You want to be unshakable? Then stop waiting for the right time. Stop blaming others. Start training the only thing you can control, yourself. Miyamoto Musashi's legacy isn't about swords or duels or battles. You don't need to become a warrior in armor. Walk it relentlessly.